What's happening, everyone? Teddy Pay here, and welcome to another stream of mine. I would like to thank everybody who has been watching my last 3 videos and actually given me a lot of feedback and advice on how to improve the quality of my streams and casting. And firstly, I'd like to thank all of you, and I really appreciate your help and feedback. So one thing that you guys actually said is to actually include a section of hero and team analysis before the game actually starts. So I'm going to include that in today's video. You'll be talking about the teams and the team advantage. Does any team have a huge advantage over the other team, and what the other team or what both teams need to do in order to win in this map. And then after that, when the game starts, I actually go through the talents from both teams, and then I'll look at the lane and who is actually more dominant in the lane. I'll try my best to remember to actually look at the level 10 talents, but hopefully things may not be so crazy, although I doubt it. Things are going to get crazy, really intense, especially if this is a hero brawler, not a MOBA. But nonetheless, we'll still check it out later. So let's look. I'll be looking at this replay that I've just recently played. It's between me. I was queuing in a quick match, and so I understand that these heroes are actually in a quick match setting, so it was actually picked first before putting in a team together, rather than being picked in a hero league setting. So I understand that, and nonetheless, I'll still go through which team has an advantage over the other team, and how a team should have been playing, what I feel the team should be playing in order to win. So we can see that there's the Lost Vikings, Nazebo, Nova, Tessida, and Falstad on the blue team, and we have another Nova, Murky, Rhaegar, Thrall, and Reyna on the red team. And what I believe is an advantage will be in the red team, because the red team has a bunch of consistent DPS with Reyna, Thrall, who can actually deal a lot of damage and will still be able to survive an onslaught of damage, especially with the healing, massive healing from Rhaegar. However, in the blue team, they're mostly paper cannons with Falstad and Nova easily taken down. Nazebo is more of the AoE zoner with its ultimate, the Gargantuan, if he adds it. But this might also seem to be a bit important in this map. After all, we have to capture the altars, and the altars are in relatively very narrow positions, and the Gargantuan may prove to be very useful. And in terms of crowd control, the red team has actually the prowess in Murky. Murky can be able to set up those bombs and actually be able to, the pufferfish bombs can actually zone out the enemies, and gives a lot of space for both Thrall and Reyna to actually deal all their range damage. And after all, both teams have a sort of clean up DPS. Both teams has the Nova who will be trying to pick off the enemy team. After all, on both teams, the heroes are relatively quite fragile. There's actually no tanks on both teams, and both teams Nova will be actually quite important in this setup as well. So what both teams need to do will be actually to try their best to zone out with their zoners. For the blue team will be Nazebo with his Gargantuan, and Murky trying his best to survive and using his pufferfish bomb to try his best to zone the other team. But nonetheless, this is strictly my opinion. It could have gone either way. The advantage is also very subjective. It could be the blue team that is actually having an advantage. No one would have known. But nonetheless, do sit back, relax, and enjoy the stream. So now we get to the map. This map, as you already know, I've actually covered this map in one of the videos. Just a quick walk through. The cores are actually invulnerable, and the only way to actually deal damage to the core would be to capture the altars that will spawn on random timings. So now I'll go through the talents being picked by both teams. We can actually see the Lost Viking going for the Viking Bribery that actually allows them to easily capture mercenaries. Nazebo going for the Death Ritual, a very standard build. Both Novas going for the Ambush Snipe that deals increased snipe damage on both sides. Very standard build so far. Reyna going for the Seasoned Marksman, increasing his damage for every minion takedown. Rhaegar going for the increased area and range on Earthbind Totem. Tessida going for the support build, increasing his mana regeneration via health regeneration globes. So now we can see the blue team's Nova is very obviously going to start roaming around. The red team's Nova also looks like he's going to roam around, but of course it's still early game, hard to say. We can actually see Olaf and Nazibo on the bottom lane as well. Oh, and the blue team's Reina has already been taken down. Sorry, the red team's Reina has been taken down by the intense burst damage by Nova. And yeah, as I said, Nova will be playing a huge role in this team battle. After all, he has one of his highest burst damage with all the consistent DPS on the blue team like Falstad, and they have relatively very low HP pools on the red team side. And Rhaegar will be captured by the blue team's Nova, but he actually manages to ghost wolf out safely. And so Murky has Murky planted his egg? Murky has planted his egg, has he? Well, anyway, nonetheless, Murky will be trying to escape. He's actually facing a lot of damage from actually 3 heroes there. Olaf is there, Nazibo is there, and Nova is there as well. Murky has to be ensured that he doesn't get captured really quickly. After all, Murky has one of the lowest HP. Dropped his pufferfish bomb, trying his best to actually zone out the enemy as much as possible. Thrall comes in, uses the wolf, trying to catch Witch Doctor, but Witch Doctor actually manages to run to safety. Thrall is actually going to be roaming as much as possible. The blue team's Nova is actually looks as though he's trying to roam around as well. Red team's Nova is adopting a different approach and actually laning together with Rhaegar, using Rhaegar's support to actually take down the enemy's hero, and is very successful. He actually manages to take down one of the Vikings on the top lane. Probably Eric. Yeah, I think it's Eric. So nonetheless, the altar is going to be spawning very soon in one of the bottom lanes, and then these heroes have to actually try to contest for this altar so as to send missiles right now. Nazibo going in very confidently, but it will be shut down quickly by Nova and Murky. He has no choice but retreat. And a very good placing of the zombies there will be able to stop Murky from taking further damage to him. Falstad trying his best, looking very confident, but he's gonna be captured by Thrall and quickly taken down by the intense onslaught of Murky, Thrall, and Rhaegar. So it seems that red team will be trying his best. But Nova actually manages to take down Murky really quickly with his snipe damage. After all, Murky has a very low HP pool. Tassada trying his best to actually use Zona the enemies out with his Prism Storm. And Tassada almost gets taken down, but Lucky manages to dimensional shift out of safety. Falstad taking huge amount of damage, but with the shield support from Tassada, Falstad will be able to stay in that position and even has the ability to barrel roll out of danger. Right now the altar is still being uncaptured, is still being contested by both teams. It's pretty much a stalemate situation right here. Falstad is putting in a lot of pressure with support from Tassada with his shields. Falstad will be able to do consistent amount of damage without taking too much damage himself. But it seems right now, as we can see from the minimap, there's going to be a huge amount of reinforcements coming from the red team side. Nova is coming in, Thrall actually coming to sandwich him right now. Thrall spots Tassada, trying to take down Tassada as fast as possible. Tassada tries to shift out of safety, but will still be taken down by Thrall nonetheless. But the red team's Reina is going to be taken down with the intense onslaught by Falstad, Thunderstorm, and Hammerang. But it will be taken down shortly by Thrall's awesome Wind Fury. Nazibo also gets taken down with the amount of DPS coming down from Thrall. It's insane. And it looks like a very easy victory, a very easy altar capture for the red team right now. Nova sees Rhaegar, tries to take down Rhaegar with her snipe, but won't be just enough. Rhaegar has, after all, the healing ability and the ability to morph into a wolf as fast as possible and be able to get down as fast as possible as well. Red team going for the siege camp, knowing that the siege camp will actually deal a significant amount of damage to the bottom fort and tower. Oh, and Murky's egg actually gets destroyed by Tassada. Tassada using his side ability to destroy Murky's egg. When Murky's egg is destroyed, the enemy team actually has sight of Murky. Falstad, knowing this, actually tries his best to fly to the area, but Murky is going to be very conservative, planting an egg behind the siege and trying not to take damage while the egg isn't being planted. Enemy team is going to take down Olaf. The Lost Vikings are unable to micro the character fast enough. Olaf will be taken down with the snipe from Nova. Nova, after all, dealing a lot of burst damage right now. Murky, with the egg being planted, now is very confident, being very aggressive, trying to take down the blue team's Fausted. Fausted has no choice but to provide covering fire and ensure that Nova isn't going to deal a lot of damage. But after all, Nova has taken down Murky once again with a huge amount of burst damage. Murky has almost no chance against Nova, if not even expecting Nova to be here. Now the altar is going to be spawning at the bottom lane. We can see that there's a huge amalgamation of heroes right now. The red team Nova is going to be taken down by Fausty with his huge amount of DPS potential. And now it's a 4v4 situation. Rhaegar also will be taken down. Fausty actually dealing a large amount of damage, but will be captured by Troll's Go Through. Manages to barrel roll our safety. The Pufferfish bomb right here, like I said, Murky has the potential to actually crowd control and ensure that the enemy hero doesn't really go for the altar. But nonetheless, this is still very easy with one hero down. Blue team will be actually manage to capture the altar relatively easy. And we can see Tessida has spotted Murky's egg, is trying his best to deal Murky's age via the Psionic Storm. Oh, Troll going for the slow, going for the AoE slow. Nazeebo is trying to escape with an awesome shield done by Tessida. Nazeebo actually manages to run out of safety. Triple tap on Tessida, will we be able to take Tessida out? It's been blocked by one of the units. Tessida lives. Nova actually essentially wasting her triple tap. Probably targeted the wrong unit, because maybe he probably wanted to target Nazeebo. And the blue team's Nova does a triple tap, takes down the enemy team Nova, and it's level 10. Time to look at the talents for both teams. Lost Viking going for the longbow raid, a huge ship that does AoE damage. Gargantuan from Nazeebo, triple tap from the red team's Nova, from both teams Nova. Force Wall for Tessida, and the hinterland, front in the area, AoE blast from Falstad. Murky has the March of the Murlocs, a very interesting build. Most Murkies actually go for the Octo Grab, but March of the Murlocs will definitely be very useful. Like I said, crowd control to aid in order to secure the altar will definitely be very useful. We shall see later. Ancestral healing for Rhaegar, trying his best to ensure that his teammates are being kept alive to sustain their DPS. Troll with the Earthquake and AoE slow, and Reyna with the Hyperion, another CC ability. Most probably likely, and right now we can see the Hyperion, and the Hyperion is really very useful. We're able to zone out both Falstad and Tessida. Tessida trying his best to keep Falstad alive with his shields. Falstad actually manages to get out safety. Rhaegar actually a casualty in the process, will be taken out very shortly by the blue team's heroes. Troll actually going for the Earthquake, slowing the enemy team's hero, manages to allow red team to retreat safely without huge amount of damage. The Lost Vikings, Eric trying to take down the enemy red team, Reyna and Nova. Nova trying his best to run out of safety. Will he be able to survive? No, it doesn't. It still gets taken down by the slingshots of Eric. Lost Vikings jumps in the boat, trying to do AoE damage. Will be taken out. Murky goes in the bubble, but isn't safe as of now. Murky running away, but won't be able to survive the huge longboat. Even longboat has a cool theme song. And Rhaegar gets trapped in the middle of 3 Vikings, won't be able to survive, but Olaf gets taken out. Rhaegar is unharmed. Probably quite a overcommitment from the Lost Vikings there, but Nova did manage to take down the red team's Troll with her triple tap, which is pretty awesome on their part. Murky going for another egg. I must say that the Murky's egg is actually really aggressive playstyle. The gates are actually aggressive, yet managing to still find a defensive angle for his eggs. And blue team has been taken down. 2 of the heroes, Nova and Falstad, will be taken down together with Nazeebo. As this I've mentioned, this is actually the entire force of blue team's DPS. Blue team has no more DPS right now, and they have no choice but to retreat and fight another day. And as you can see, the Lost Vikings are actually split up into top lane. Middle lane won't be able to have Lost Vikings, actually too many heroes right there. But it did that. Most Lost Vikings actually play with their Lost Vikings split up so as to soak as much EXP for the team as much as possible. But knowing this, the red team is attempting to try to sandwich the Lost Vikings. A few seconds wasted, the Lost Vikings will be effectively sandwiched and will be taken down by the entire force of red team. Luckily, the Lost Vikings manages to retreat to safety. Murky will be taken down quickly by Falstad, actually dealing a lot of damage, barreling roll together with his bubble. Murky will face a huge amount of DPS threat, but nonetheless, Murky is still doing a very good job, trying his best to zone the enemy out, trying not allowing them to do as much damage to their fort. So right now we can look at the level 13 talents. The Vikings going to increase Olaf's AoE damage around it. Dead Rush, Lethal Decoy, Shrink Ray, Thunder Strike, Lethal Decoy, Bubble Machine, Healing Surge, Spell Shield, and Double Barrel. And the altar is spawning on both the top left and top right. Earthquake is coming down on the team fight, and it manages to trap Olaf in the middle of the dead zombie. Tessida trying his best to do a shield, but won't be able to save Olaf. The huge amount of damage by the March of the Murlocs. Murlocs is going to be taking down Nazeebo, is going to be taking down Tessida as well. A very awesome play by Murky's March of the Murloc. Murky doing a very good job of easy MVP in this match. Eric is potentially the only survivor, together with Falstad, but Falstad actually is just revived. Eric, one of the only survivors in that huge team fight. Falstad actually jumps in, trying his best to stop Nova from actually capturing the altar, but Nova is managing to live. Falstad has very low life. It's a huge gamble to actually try to go back and defend the altar. And it looks like the blue team will be surrendering the top left altar to the red team. Or is it? Nova coming in together with Falstad, trying to take down their red team's heroes, ensure that the top left corner altar won't be taken down. And the Vikings jump in, but Olaf will be very quickly taken down by the enemy team's Nova. Red team all going for his Earthquake, trying to take down Falstad. Falstad gets taken down. Tessida also gets taken down. The support is gone. The DPS is gone. Only left with Nazeebo and Nova. They have no choice but to retreat. But Red team is low on health. Red team's Nova is also very low on health, and will be taken down. Reyna and Troll from the red team as well. So it looks like the blue team actually emerged victorious right here with Nova and Nazeebo dealing a lot of AoE damage. Will be easily taking the missiles and dealing damage to their core. However, it also seems that the red team has managed to capture the top right hand corner altar and also has been dealing damage to the blue team's core. So, but however, in terms of core health, blue team is actually leading 32 to 24, and red team is around how many mats fail? 2 altars leading in front.
Heroes, I have opened a tunnel to the battleground center.
So this is definitely a very interesting mechanic. It's actually a straight town portal from the base right there. And blue team's Nova will be trapped in the middle of 3 heroes, but will be able to take down the enemy teams. Rhaegar will be able to take down Murky as well with a hinterland blast from Falstad. Actually, the entire red team is on a retreat. The whole blue team is amalgamated together, doing a lot of damage together, especially with Nazeebo's Gargantuan. Like I said, is actually doing a lot of AoE stun damage, doing a very good job at crowd control. Red team has no choice but to retreat, is being crowd controlled. Reyna going for the Hyperion, trying to zone the blue team out, but it still gets the tower taken down while the blue team retreats to avoid the blasts from the Hyperion. And it seems that Troll is AFK here. Oh, it's not. Okay, he's moving. Nova also harassing and poking the blue team, and it seems like the blue team right now, the main anchor for the team is actually Falstad, dealing a lot of consistent DPS damage in the team fights, especially with the Hinterland Blast, Hammerang, and the lightning damage. And especially since the red team is pretty paper as well, as long as Rhaegar actually gets taken out, Falstad has the potential to deal a lot of damage to the red team. And the altars are going to be spawned. See, Tessida is trying to be cheeky, trying to find Murky's egg, but won't be able to do so. And Troll is actually in the wrong position here. Troll should actually be trying to help the teammates out. Nonetheless, the altars are spawned. Nova is going for the bottom altar. The blue team and the red team will be trying to contest for the middle altar, so it seems that the red team will be easily guessing the bottom altar. Nonetheless, blue team going for the middle altar, effectively zoning Reyna out. Falstad dealing a lot of lightning damage to him. Murky and will also be trying his best to do the bomb. Missed the pufferfish bomb. Nova already rotated to the middle, but however won't be able to do. The red team does not have the power from Troll as well. Nova will be quickly taken down by the blue team's Nova triple tap. A very strong march on the Murloc, trying to deal a lot of damage to protect the red team's Rhaegar, but Rhaegar will be easily taken down by the Hinterland Blast from Falstad. And Murky is also taken down by all the enemy teams, especially as you can see, another MVP on the blue side will be both easily both Falstad and Nazebo's Gargantuan. Nazebo's Gargantuan dealing a lot of crowd control for the blue team. Red team, as you can see, has no choice but to retreat to avoid the onslaught, the AoE stun from the Gargantuan. Now a huge reason why red team didn't actually manage to win the team fight was because Troll was actually trying to capture the siege camp from the top. Definitely a huge disadvantage for the red team. With Troll there, he will be able to use his Earthquake. Falstad will have problems trying to reach the red team's heroes, but nonetheless, Troll actually going for the blue team's fort has only destroyed the gates despite actually managing to capture the siege. Nova going for the Troll actually being very perceptive, immediately retreats knowing that the blue team's heroes are actually gone. A very commendable map awareness right there. And blue team has managed to capture the bottom tower for the red team, and this puts the missile 5 against 3. And the altar is going to spawn at the bottom lane. All the heroes once again are moving to the bottom lane as much as possible. Falstad actually going in first, trying his best to actually capture the thing before anything happens. A very commendable move. But the blue team is going to be taken down in the middle lane. One of the Vikings are already taken down. Jumps in the boat using the Murloc on the Murloc, but with the Earthquake, a very powerful combo. The heroes do not have the ability to move away from the march on the Murlocs. The Murlocs will be dealing a amount of damage. With the amount of damage down from Nova, will be taking the enemy team Nazebo down. A very good Hinterland Blast, almost taking Nova down, but still not enough. Nova is managing to run away back to safety, and without suffering any fatalities. Troll actually doing a lot of work right now with the Earthquake. And with the Earthquake, we'll be able to ensure that's why that the blue team won't be able to win in that team fight. But nonetheless, blue team has managed to capture the bottom objective, sending 4 missiles to the red team's core. And blue team is now in a very good advantage, almost a 2 times lead in terms of core health with 28 versus 15. And both teams have already reached level 20. Level 20 talents are Ragnarok and Roll, Boulder Storm, Rewind, Storm Shield, and Nexus Frenzy. We have Nova Rewind, Never Ending Murlocs, Rewind, Earthen Shields, and Nexus Frenzy for each of the respective heroes. Reyna will be slowly taken down, and will be taken down by Nova Snipe and attack damage. Definitely a very strong attempt, and this might actually be game breaking for the blue team and the red team, because with Reyna down, one of the strongest DPS has 1 minute to revive. There's actually will be able to do a lot, and with the altars being spawned, the altars are going to be spawned in 30 seconds. Reyna will not be able to deal with the team fight that's going to be happening there right now. Blue team can potentially get at least 1 altar, putting the red team's core health from 15 to 11. Definitely a very precarious situation for the red team. Red team knowing this, trying to stick together. Rhaegar going fighting Nova, very wrong mistake, and won't be able to kill himself right there and avoid certain death. Triple tap from the red team's Nova, trying to take down, but with an awesome Storm Shield by Tassadar, will be able to preserve Nazebo's health. And it seems that Olaf has already taken the top left altar. One of the Lost Vikings also taking the top right altar, dealing 8 missiles to the enemy's core. Enemies at 7 health. Whoa, not at 7 health, at 3 health left. All blue team has to do is to capture 1 more altar to send red team to their knees. So definitely a very precarious situation for the red team. Red team has to try their best to stick together, definitely, because the AoE damage for the red team is very strong. With the Troll Slow, the March of the Murlocs, and Murky's Pufferfish Bomb, if we're able to deal a lot of damage and control the altar even before the blue team actually comes in. But they have to stick together. Troll is actually going a lot, but Balog will be taken down very shortly with the amount of damage from Reyna. Murloc going for March of the Murloc, knowing that the blue team is is actually around the area, but Troll facing huge damage from Faustet. Troll has no choice but to retreat. Pufferfish Bomb, once again, we can see the Pufferfish Bomb actually zoning out the enemy, saving Troll's life. The Viking will be doing in the long shift, but won't be able to deal much damage to an enemy hero. Nova coming in, trying to clean up, like we said, a cleanup hero right here, but doesn't want to overcommit and doesn't jump into the enemy's fort right there. Definitely a very wise and tactical move. And looks like Nova actually managed to take in Faustet, manages to take an Olaf down. Blue team is actually in a huge disadvantage, but manages to take down Troll at the same time. Now Nova will be in trouble, will be taken out shortly afterwards. Hyperion actually missing a huge amount. Triple tap goes for Nazeebo. Nazeebo comes out, Tester actually saves Nazeebo for him, but will be able needs to run as fast as possible. Reina going down and taking down the enemy's team, one of the other Vikings. But it seems that Tester and Nazeebo will be safe right now. Nova spotting Baylor. Is that Baylor? Yes, Nova spotting Baylor, guts the snipe. Baylor has to run out there as fast as possible, but will not be able to take it down. And it actually sees that Nova has said forget the altar, which is definitely a very good move. Oh, and Reina and Nova will be quickly burst Nazeebo down. Blue team from a very huge advantage, going to a very disadvantageous situation with four heroes against one hero. Blue team definitely has to give out this altar. There's no way for the blue team to actually try their best to get this altar. Knowing that blue team will be trying to attempt for the siege camp, red team have sent another 4 missiles running, shooting to the blue team's core. Murky going for the fort, using his bombs. Murky actually can deal a lot of damage to forts right now. Oh, and the red team is going for the boss. This boss, when destroyed, will actually can send even more missiles to the enemy's core. So with the amount of consistent DPS from Nova and Reina, will be able to take down the boss, sending another 4 missiles to the red team. Red team actually doing a very good job despite low core health. But once again, the decisive moment comes when the next altar spawns. Will red team be able, as long as there's more than one altar, the red team has to do their best to defend all 3 altars. Definitely a very difficult job. Murky almost destroying himself there, going against the siege mercenary, but Faustin knows about this. He barrels right in front of Murky's face. The entire blue team comes in, taking down Murky as much as possible. But of course, Murky still has his egg. Will be spawning very, very soon. Red team Nova looking for an opportunity here. Oh, and huge pufferfish bomb, effectively zoning out the entire blue team. But blue team will be has managed to capture the bottom fort, increasing the missiles from 3 to 5. Oh, and Murky jumps in with the pufferfish bomb, but manages to get out safely. Blue team Nova saw the enemy team Murky and takes it down really quickly. Faustin taken down by the red team's Nova. Both Novas are doing a really good job taking down the important heroes as much as possible. But of course, jokes is on the Faustin because the Murky actually is already spawned. And here comes the decisive moment. 3 altars right now, and they have to ensure that they have to defend all altars, which is almost impossible. Red team is, after all, dealing with 7 heroes. Of course, if you consider the Vikings as well. Murky doing a good job, much of the Murloc, but will not be able to take them down. Blue team did manage to capture not just 1, but 2 altars in the process, and therefore destroying what's left of the red team's core and winning the game.
Blue team is victorious.
So thank you very much for listening to this today's stream. I hope that this new format will be practical, will be useful, will be fun for all of you. Of course, I'm now brushing up the early game part of my stream. Slowly, I'll be trying to brush up the mid and late game part of the stream. And definitely, I would like to thank all the support that I've got so far. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for spending your 24 minutes listening to my stream. Yeah. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.